Okay, we are going to start learning how to use Autodesk Revit. We're going to go over here to Revit, open that program. It will take a couple seconds to load. Today, there's going to be a sequence of videos that I have for you. This first one is going to, walk you through the basics, how to use the program a little bit. And the more you use it, the more you're going to get acclimated with it. It is, it's definitely a little bit of a learning curve, but as you go, you really get used to everything and it'll get easier and easier. So under models, you're going to go to new, and we are going to open a new construction template, and we're going to click here and change this to project template. All right, so our workspace loads here. This is where you're going to be eventually building your floor plans. You'll see your floor plans in this screen. You'll be able to see it 3D in this screen. And let's take a look at what we have here. We've got ribbons across the top. These ribbons, you're going to find all the different tools you need to do walls, doors, windows, ceilings, floors, stairs. Okay, different tabs here that we'll work with. Not all these tabs, but some of these tabs we'll eventually get into. Over here, you've got your properties menu and your project browser. It's very important that you understand that these are here. You need to get used to looking at them. I'll refer to them, and we do a lot, in these menus. Your properties menu. There's all these little things we have to change along the way to modify windows and doors and walls. Our project browser has all the levels in it. Our floor plans, level 1, level 2, the roof, the site. Elevations I'll commonly be talking to you about. So we will be using this to navigate around different parts of our home, different views that we need to see. So don't ever move them. Don't drag these. Don't try and move them somewhere else. Don't close them. Do not close these two menus and don't move them. Trust me, because it makes things very difficult to get them. You'll never get them back where they are now, and if you lose them, it's hard to get them back. So just leave them alone. Okay, so we are going to start out by making the topography surface. That is the ground. That is the top level of the ground, if you want to think of it that way. So we're going to start out with that. We're going to go to Massing and Site. We're going to go to the project browser over here, and we're going to double click on the site plan. Under floor plans, we're going to double click the site plan. Doesn't look any different, but it highlights it. It is a different layer, if you will, of our home. So we want to make sure we're in that site plan. And like I said, we're going to go to Massing and Site, and then we're going to click on the Topo Surface tool. And we want to be inside these 4 callouts. So as long as we're inside here somewhere, that's fine. This surface, again, it just represents the land, the lot that your house is being built on. So we're just going to draw a big rectangle. It doesn't matter if it's perfect, if it's a little irregular. That's all things that can be adjusted later on. That's no big deal. We're going to hit the green check mark to finish, to save that surface. Get used to that. That's something you'll commonly see when you're done doing something. You've got to come up here and hit the green check to save it, or to cancel it, hit the red X. Okay, now that's saved. Now we're going to go to, let's check out what this looks like in an elevation plan. So if we go down here to elevations, we're going to go to the north elevation. Now this is like looking at the elevation plans of my house, right? Just like you drew elevations, eventually you're going to see your house here one day. You're going to see the front or side or back of your house built here one day. Well, currently we've only got that. There's the topo surface we just built. It's on level 1 where it should be. So make sure your topo surface is there on level 1. Okay. And we'll be coming back to this and making adjustments. All right. So let's go back to the site plan, double click. Now we're going to make a building pad. We're going to make the pad that our house is going to sit on, that's going to be built on. Remember, we're not doing basements, so much like houses out in the western part of our country, you know, built on desert and the sand, or down in the swampy lands of the south, they don't always have basements. They build on slabs. So that's what we're going to do to save time. All right, you're going to go to building pad. So picture this is like a concrete pad that we build your house on. So go to building pad. Again, we're under the massing and site tab. We're going to go to the properties menu. We are going to change the height offset to 1 foot. We want this pad to sit on top of our topography surface. And in order to do that, we need to raise it a foot up so that it sits on top of the surface and not below the surface. So that's what height offset means. Now, in this little window, we have the ability to draw different shapes. You've got to go and scroll up. I don't know why you have to scroll up, but you do. And there's the line or rectangle tool. If your house is a perfect rectangle, you might consider just doing the rectangle. But most likely your house is made up of, you know, kind of like that cookie cutter shape we talked about. It probably has some bumps in the foundation. So click on the line tool, and somewhere in the middle of your lot, you can start to draw your foundation. So this is the border of your home, the outer walls of your home, right? So start in one of the corners. As you drag, or as you pull your mouse in some direction, you're going to see how it gives you the feet and the inches of that particular line. Now, the nice thing about this program is, and you know this if you've had me for CAD, but see that dotted line that shows up and it says horizontal? Like, it will find a perfectly horizontal line for you. It'll snap. We call it snapping. It'll snap to the horizon. It'll also snap to perfectly vertical. And so that makes drawing very easy. It's not like you have to worry about being slightly crooked like this. You know it's a perfectly horizontal or vertical line. So I like to enter the values. I don't like to rely on what the number says there, 39 feet 6 inches. I like to type in the value. I think it's more accurate. Sometimes that's not accurate, seeing what you see on the screen. So if I want, you know, a 40-foot wall now, I'm going to type 40 feet with one single apostrophe, and maybe let's just say it's 6 inches. I can just type a 6. I don't need to follow that with anything, and hit enter. Once I do that, there's my 40-foot 6-inch line. Okay, now I'm going to come down and let's make it about 35 feet. Let's come across here. So notice what else it does is I come over here with my mouse and I line it up with that edge. Notice, again, those dotted lines, those dashed lines. It finds the adjacent endpoint. It finds like the same length. So I don't have to type in the value again. I can simply click right here. It matches the line it matches that same line up top. So as long as that dashed line shows up, I can click. I can come back up to here and I can snap to the endpoint. That's called snapping. It finds the endpoint. You know it found the endpoint because you see a square and it says endpoint. So it's a perfect snap. It locks on to the end of that line I already drew. All right. Now, make this the front of your house. Make this wall, this edge, the front of your house. Make this the back of your house. Now, I'm not going to do my garage yet. I need to do it separately. So I'm going to hit the green check mark to finish and save that surface. Now, if I wanted to, I could click on this. I could move it, or I can edit the boundary line. So if you messed up and you need to make some adjustments, you can hit edit boundary, click on one of those lines, and actually type in a value in these dimensions and adjust the lengths of those as necessary by simply typing into that window. So you can make adjustments as you see fit. You can also drag a line and move it around, but you get the idea. So let's get back out of there and save that. Now I'm going to go and add my garage, and you need to do it separately. The program just requires it to be that way. So again, back to massing in site, building pad. I'm going to use the rectangle tool this time, and I'm just going to draw something like this. And we'll be happy with that. Green check. Offset stayed at 1 foot. That's good. Good thing I remembered to double check that. Green check to save. Okay. Now, something really cool to do is to start to look at your creation, your home in 3D. So if you go up here to this little house, now we can see it in a 3D view. And we can see that our pads are sitting on top of our topo surface. You can use the view cube to move your screen around and adjust the view. But I don't like to use that, honestly. I'd rather use my mouse and the keyboard. So the way that you do this is called orbit. Notice how I'm moving the screen. This is called orbit. And the way that I'm doing that is I'm holding the middle mouse wheel button and the shift key at the same time. So middle mouse wheel and the shift key, hold them both in at the same time, and you can move your screen and orbit it any angle you want. And I kind of like to do that because I can free orbit and put it anywhere I want, rather than being locked into the few angles that they give you on the view cube. All right. The other thing we can do, let's go ahead and take a look at our house in the elevation plan again. So I'm going to go to the north elevation, double click. I can see that my topography surface is sitting on top level 1. So your house is you're going to see your house being built here one day. You're going to see, you know, your elevation plans. And you want to keep checking this on a regular basis to make sure your levels are right, so we can see that this is correct. Our topo surface is on level 1. Our pad is on top of the ground level. So everything is good right now. Okay, one more thing I'll show you here real quick is, let's go back to that 3D view and let's change this, make it look a little more realistic. So there's a few more tools down here across the bottom of your screen. And here I'll show you this one, Visual Style. So right now this is pretty boring looking, but if you go to this Visual Style tool, we can put this on shaded, but I like realistic. And that's going to show the true colors that you use. And you're going to be adjusting colors all throughout the process here, changing the colors of walls and floors and all that kind of thing. So this is kind of a cool way to see, you know, more of a solid model, see what the colors are, see a more realistic look of your home. So that's it for now. We'll pick up with a new video on making your walls. Thank you.